Imagine having the power to change your life with one simple decision. What if the secret to success isn't in what you own, but in what you know? Your mind is your most valuable asset, more precious than any bank account or degree on your wall. It holds the key to everything you can achieve if you invest in it. So, how are you investing in your mind today? Let's dive into why continuous learning is the greatest investment you'll ever make. Your mind is the most valuable asset you will ever own. Not your car, your bank balance, or even that prestigious degree on your wall. Your mind is your true wealth. Just like any valuable asset, if you don't invest in it, nurture it, and challenge it, it will deteriorate. That's why education isn't a one-time event. It's not something you simply finish in school, check off your list, and move on from. No, education is a lifelong commitment. It's a daily journey. Your mind is the most powerful tool you have. It shapes your thoughts, defines your success, and influences the direction of your life. Unlike material possessions that can be lost, stolen, or destroyed, your mind is an asset that can continue to grow as long as you invest in it. But here's the truth. If you don't nurture it, it will weaken. A mind left inactive doesn't remain the same. It fades just like an unused muscle. That's why the most important investment you can make is not in stocks, real estate, or a business, but in yourself. Sadly, many people stop learning the moment they leave school. They assume that once they have a diploma or degree, their education is over. But education isn't about collecting certificates. It's about expanding your mind, refining your understanding, and staying ahead in an ever-evolving world. Think of the mind as a garden. If you don't plant seeds of knowledge, weeds of ignorance will take root. And unlike a physical garden where the seasons follow a predictable cycle, the world we live in is constantly changing. New ideas, industries, and ways of thinking are emerging every day. Those who fail to adapt are left behind, not because they aren't smart, but because they stop learning. There's a direct connection between knowledge and opportunity. The more you learn, the more you can do. The more you can do, the more valuable you become. Those at the top of their fields didn't get there by chance. They got there because they never stopped learning. They read books, attended seminars, studied their craft, and surrounded themselves with people who challenged their thinking. They treated their minds like a valuable asset, something to polish, refine, and strengthen over time. They understood that real wealth lies not in what you own, but in what you know. If you want a better life, you need to feed your mind with better information. Just like you wouldn't put low-quality fuel into a high-performance car, you shouldn't fill your mind with unproductive content. What you consume mentally shapes your decisions, your actions, and ultimately your outcomes. Every book you read, every thought-provoking conversation you have, every skill you develop adds strength to your mind. And when challenges come, and they always do, it's the knowledge you've accumulated that will determine whether you overcome them or not. There's no shortage of knowledge in today's world. Books, podcasts, online courses, mentorships, everything is right at your fingertips. The only question is, will you take advantage of it? Many people say they want success, but they're unwilling to make the necessary effort to learn and grow. Many people desire better jobs, higher income, and stronger relationships, but they don't take the time to educate themselves on how to achieve those goals. Instead of preparing for opportunities, they wait for them to appear. The difference between those who succeed and those who struggle often comes down to one idea, one piece of knowledge that shifts their perspective and opens up new possibilities. But that idea won't come to you. You need to seek it out. Developing your mind requires discipline. It means dedicating time each day to learning something new, even when it's inconvenient. It means choosing books over mindless entertainment, seeking wisdom over gossip, and valuing knowledge more than temporary distractions. Too many people spend more time on social media than they do on self-improvement. They complain about their circumstances but never take action to change them. Meanwhile, those who value knowledge are quietly advancing. They're preparing for opportunities others won't see. They're strengthening their skills, sharpening their mindset, and building a foundation that will support them for a lifetime. Education is not a destination, it's an ongoing journey. Many treat learning as something to be completed after finishing school or earning a degree, but real education never stops. It's not confined to classrooms, textbooks, or formal institutions. It's a continuous process of discovery, adaptation, and refinement. The world is evolving every day, and those who fail to continue learning will inevitably fall behind. What was valuable knowledge yesterday may become obsolete tomorrow. Those who refuse to adapt will struggle to stay relevant in a fast-changing world. Success comes to those who understand that learning isn't just about gathering information, but about expanding their ability to think, solve problems, and make better decisions. Knowledge is a competitive advantage. It's what separates leaders from followers. The greatest minds in history, scientists, entrepreneurs, philosophers, and visionaries, never stopped learning. They stayed curious, questioned assumptions, and sought new perspectives even after achieving greatness. That's why they kept growing. Most people don't fail because they lack talent or intelligence. They fail because they stop learning. They become comfortable with what they know and resist exposing themselves to new ideas. They settle into routines that don't challenge them intellectually. This leads to mental stagnation, and once that happens, progress becomes impossible. Life will continue to present challenges, and without the ability to learn and adapt, those challenges will become insurmountable. Education provides the tools to navigate uncertainty, recognize opportunities, and turn obstacles into stepping stones. It's easy to spot the difference between someone who is continuously learning and someone who has stopped. The person who keeps learning remains open-minded, sharp, and adaptable. They engage in meaningful conversations, offer new insights, and tackle problems with creativity and confidence. In contrast, the person who has stopped learning becomes rigid in their thinking, resistant to change, and stuck in outdated methods. They struggle to keep up with progress, repeat the same mistakes, and eventually get overshadowed by those who are willing to grow. One common misconception about learning is that it has to be difficult or time-consuming. In reality, small, consistent efforts accumulate over time. Reading just a few pages of a good book every day, listening to a podcast during your commute, engaging in conversations with knowledgeable people, or reflecting on your own experiences can all contribute to a lifelong education. The key is to make learning a habit, not a chore. It's not about memorizing facts or collecting degrees. It's about shaping your personal philosophy and enriching your life. Developing the ability to think critically, solve problems, and make better choices is essential. Technology has made learning more accessible than ever, with countless resources available, including books, online courses, documentaries, expert interviews, and more. The only requirement is a willingness to seek knowledge. Unfortunately, many people prioritize entertainment over education. They spend hours consuming content that adds little value to their lives while complaining about not having time to improve themselves. The truth is, everyone has time. The difference lies in how that time is used. Those who prioritize learning will always have an edge over those who do not. Lifelong education isn't just about career success. It influences every aspect of life: health, relationships, personal growth, and financial stability. People who continue learning are better at managing their emotions, making informed decisions, and adapting to life's unexpected challenges. They are more independent because they don't rely on others for answers. They seek knowledge and develop their own solutions. They take control of their growth instead of waiting for life to teach them lessons the hard way. The world is not slowing down, it's accelerating faster than ever before. New technologies, industries, and ways of thinking emerge daily. The skills that were valuable a decade ago are becoming outdated, and those who refuse to adapt will find themselves left behind. The reality is that the knowledge you have today may not be sufficient for the opportunities of tomorrow. Those who keep learning, evolving, and staying ahead of the curve will always have the advantage. Stagnation is not only dangerous, it's a guaranteed path to irrelevance. Many people fall into the trap of thinking that once they complete their formal education, they've learned everything they need to know. They become comfortable with their current knowledge and assume that their experience will carry them forward. But experience without continuous learning is just repetition, doing the same thing without ever improving. Growth comes from constantly exposing yourself to new ideas, refining your skills, and challenging your understanding. The moment you stop learning, you stop progressing. And in a world that is constantly advancing, standing still is the same as falling behind. The most successful people in any field are the ones who invest the most in their education. They read books, attend seminars, seek mentorship, and explore new perspectives. They never assume they know everything. Instead, they actively search for gaps in their knowledge and work to fill them. They understand that what brought them to their current level won't be enough to take them to the next one. Every great leader, innovator, and entrepreneur shares one common trait. They never stop being students. They stay curious, hungry, and open-minded, which allows them to adapt to change while others struggle to keep up. Those who stop learning often find themselves frustrated and stuck, unable to move forward. People often see new opportunities but feel unqualified to seize them. They watch others succeed and wonder why their own efforts don't produce similar results. The answer is simple. Knowledge is the foundation of growth. If you don't continue to build on that foundation, it will eventually crack under the weight of new challenges. The people who keep learning are always preparing themselves for the next step. They don't wait for opportunities to come to them. They create opportunities by expanding their knowledge and capabilities. One of the biggest misconceptions is that learning requires massive amounts of time. Many assume that making progress means dedicating hours every day to studying, but in reality, small, consistent efforts lead to significant long-term results. Reading just a few pages of a book, listening to an insightful podcast during your commute, or even having meaningful conversations can provide valuable lessons that compound over time. The key is to develop the habit of learning, making it a natural part of daily life. When learning becomes optional, growth becomes optional. The truth is, those who actively seek knowledge will always outpace those who don't. They will be the ones who come up with innovative ideas, solve problems more effectively, and recognize opportunities before others. They will be the ones who rise while others remain stagnant. The difference between success and mediocrity is not talent or luck. It's the commitment to continuous improvement. Those who learn daily will always have the advantage because while others rely on outdated knowledge, they are equipping themselves with the tools needed for the future. Success is not built on one grand action, but on small, consistent efforts over time. The same principle applies to learning. Many people believe knowledge is something you acquire in large chunks by attending university, taking advanced courses, or spending years mastering a skill. But the truth is, the most effective way to grow is through daily incremental learning. A little bit of reading, a short conversation with a mentor, or a moment of reflection. These small actions, when done consistently, create a foundation of knowledge that compounds over time. The person who dedicates even a few minutes every day to learning will always be ahead of the person who waits for the perfect opportunity to acquire knowledge in large doses. The key to lifelong education is consistency. It's not about cramming information in one day and forgetting it the next. It's about making learning a habit, something so ingrained in daily life that it becomes second nature. Just as physical fitness is achieved through regular exercise, mental fitness is built through regular intellectual effort. Reading 10 pages a day may not seem like much, but over the course of a year, that amounts to thousands of pages. Listening to an educational podcast on your way to work may feel insignificant at the moment, but over time, those ideas shape how problems are approached and solutions are found. The impact of small, consistent learning efforts may not be visible in the short term, but it is undeniable in the long run. One of the biggest mistakes people make is underestimating the power of small steps. They assume that if they don't have time to study for hours, it's not worth studying at all. But this thinking leads to inaction. Waiting for the perfect time to learn something new usually results in never learning it at all. The most successful individuals don't wait for ideal conditions. They take advantage of every opportunity, no matter how small. They understand that knowledge is accumulated through repetition, reinforcement, and continuous exposure. A single lesson may not change everything, but when combined with many other lessons over time, it creates a deep and lasting impact. Another common misconception is that learning only comes from books or formal education. In reality, valuable lessons are everywhere. Observing people, analyzing failures, listening to different perspectives. These experiences teach, just as much, if not more, than traditional academic settings. The person who stays curious and open to new information finds learning opportunities in daily conversations, in the challenges they face, and even in the mistakes they make. The willingness to extract knowledge from every situation is what separates those who grow from those who remain stagnant. Applying what is learned is just as important as acquiring knowledge. Many people read books, watch videos, and attend seminars, but never implement what they learn. Knowledge without action is like potential energy that never turns into motion. The true value of education lies in its application. A single idea, when put into practice, can transform a career, improve relationships, or create financial success. But if that same idea is merely understood and not used, it remains nothing more than information. The real winners in life are not just those who learn, they are those who take what they've learned and put it into action. The greatest advantage of continuous learning is that it builds adaptability. The world is unpredictable and change is constant. Those who rely on past knowledge without updating their understanding will struggle when faced with new challenges. On the other hand, those who make learning a habit develop the ability to think critically, solve problems creatively, and adjust to new situations with ease. Their ability to stay ahead is not due to more talent or intelligence, but because they have conditioned themselves to always be growing, always improving, and always prepared for what comes next. However, knowledge alone is not enough. The world is full of people who know a great deal but accomplish very little. They've read the books, attended the seminars, and absorbed endless amounts of information, yet their lives remain unchanged. The reason is simple. Learning without action is meaningless. It's like collecting tools but never using them to build anything. Information is only valuable when it is applied, tested, and turned into results. Without action, knowledge is just potential that never transforms into progress. Many people fall into the trap of consuming knowledge for the sake of it. They feel productive because they are reading, listening, or studying, but in reality, they are stuck in a cycle of passive learning. They move from one book to the next, one course to another, believing that more knowledge will lead to success. But knowledge alone does not create results. Execution does. The difference between those who succeed and those who remain stagnant is not how much they know, but how well they apply what they know. The greatest achievers do not wait until they feel fully prepared before taking action. They take what they've learned, put it into practice, and refine their approach as they go. Fear of failure often stops people from applying what they learn. They hesitate to take action because they're afraid of making mistakes, looking foolish, or not getting things right the first time. But mistakes are not something to avoid. They are an essential part of learning. Real growth happens through experience, not just through theory. A person can read about business strategies for years, but until they start a business, deal with real customers, and face real challenges, their knowledge remains incomplete. A person can study leadership principles, but until they step into a leadership role, make tough decisions, and handle difficult conversations, they will never truly understand what it takes to lead. Application turns knowledge into wisdom. Without experience, even the most valuable lessons remain abstract ideas rather than tools for success. Perfectionism is another common barrier that prevents people from turning knowledge into action. They believe they need to learn everything before they start, that they need to master every detail before making a move. This mindset keeps them in a cycle of preparation without progress. The truth is, nobody is ever 100% ready. The most successful individuals start before they feel fully prepared and learn along the way. They understand that action creates momentum, and momentum leads to improvement. They don't wait until they have all the answers because they know that many answers only reveal themselves through action. Taking action on knowledge doesn't always mean making huge life-changing moves. Sometimes it's about small, consistent steps. Implementing just one new idea, trying out a different approach, or applying a single concept from a book can make a significant impact over time. Small actions, when repeated consistently, lead to massive results. The key is to start somewhere. To take what has been learned and put it into motion rather than letting it sit in the mind as unused potential. The people who rise to the top in any field are not necessarily the smartest or the most educated. They are the ones who take decisive action. They test what they learn, see what works, and adjust their approach accordingly. They learn from their failures, refine their strategies, and improve through experience. They don't just accumulate knowledge, they use it as a tool to create success. This is the difference between those who dream and those who achieve. While many spend their time acquiring more and more information, a select few take what they already know and turn it into something extraordinary. The difference between those who dream and those who achieve is simple. It's action. The knowledge you accumulate today becomes the foundation for your success tomorrow. Don't let your mind remain idle. Continue learning, growing, and evolving. Remember, success isn't built overnight, but through consistent small steps. Keep learning, keep applying, and soon you'll be on the path to creating the life you've always wanted. Your future is shaped by the actions you take today. Start now.